I just never felt like the game was safe.
I actually did.
So many opportunities the Mets had last night.
I know.
And the thing, like, if there's one thing that just kind of exemplifies what Pete Alonso is going through,
It's tripping
over your own bat.
Yeah.
I mean, and after the game, he said that's never ever happened to him before. Well, I mean, this is not time for that. And again, opportunity after opportunity, and the only reason I talk about it this way with him is because the expectations with him have been huge all year, because he's been the Mets, the home run hitter, the slugger, the guy we love. He's actually played a solid defense, made a really nice pick on a Lindor throw last night. So I mean, he's doing his thing in the field. It's not really affecting him there, but well, I'll tell you what, he is mired in like such mediocrity right now, and it's in his head. And that play right there, just you're sitting there, you watch it, you know that he's going to beat this out.
Yeah,
you're like, where is he?
Right, I thought he got hurt. I thought that he came up lame when he wasn't in the frame when they went to the throw to first base and he was sort of jogging. I thought he pulled a hamstring is what it was. And then you didn't really get an answer as to what the hell was going on until they came back after the break. And you're right. I mean, it's just...
It's like he's stuck. He's stuck in neutral, and it's really unfortunate because he's the guy that can do it. And I know that it's been written about, it's been talked about. We've talked about it incessantly for the entire season. And he's never, ever really cranked it up. And his September was not great. I lauded him yesterday because he ended up taking 3, base on balls. And he was not trying to press the issue, and he was doing the right thing. And then last night, he had opportunity after opportunity. And just unfortunately for him, it's just, baseball's a weird game. And it's just, sometimes you get mired in these slumps and you can't get out of them. And then ultimately, when you do come out of them, and hopefully maybe today's the day he comes out of it, then you go on a run all of a sudden for 2 weeks. And I feel like he's stuck in neutral. I don't know what else to say. And it's really unfortunate because he's a fan favorite. Everybody loves him. We all wanted to keep him here. I just can't imagine the Mets even remotely even thinking about that if this ends the way that it's, if it ends the way that yesterday went. And I don't think that's going to be. I think they're going to win today. I'm positive, and I feel good about the team, and the team has come back over and over and over again. They just got to be a little bit smarter about what they're doing. And unfortunately for Carlos Mendoza, he didn't press the right buttons yesterday.
No, he didn't. And I mean, when we were talking about using the bullpen a couple days ago with Maton not being available and Diaz not being available, and we felt like it was going to be Stanek and we thought it was going to be Buto, and it worked out that way. Going into last night, I thought because Maton didn't pitch and Diaz didn't pitch that was what was going to happen. They were going to give the ball to Maton, they were going to give the ball to Diaz, and that was going to be it. And I actually had faith that game was going to end 3-2. And Mendoza said with Churio, he didn't want to leave Stanek in because of the high velocity that Churio can turn around on, and that's what he loved the Maton matchup with Churio, and it didn't work. So you're right. He didn't press the right button there. And when Maton isn't good, it looks terrible because, he's a location guy. He kind of keeps you off balance.
He's a curveball guy.
Right. And then when he's out there and he's leaving the ball up like that, he looks like he's throwing batting practice. And yesterday he was for the Brewers in the 8th, and it just sucked. It just absolutely sucked to see that.
Now it's all hands on deck, and everybody's got to be ready for both teams, not just the Mets, obviously. And I'm sure that the Brewers will be doing the same thing. And today is going to be, to me, this is like, if what happened with Lindor in the bottom of the 9th was like the last game of the season, and they needed that, and they needed to go in, the euphoria surrounding that game would have been even more than it had already been. It was exciting, no question, but they had the backup doubleheader just in case. So this is it. This is the game that will decide whether you're going home or whether you're going to continue to play. And this is the night where you're looking for something special from somebody, whether it be pitching, whether it be clutch hitting, whether it be stealing a base, making a great play in the field. This is the game where you sit on the edge of your seat thinking that, man, it's all now. It's all today. And I know both teams feel the same way. You'd be idiotic to think that it's just the Mets, but we are the Met fans here. So we're hoping that our guys continue to show what they have shown all season long, the ability to get up off the mat, because last night had to be really disappointing for them, because I for sure thought, and I bet you Mendoza thought this too, I got the right pitcher going against the right guys, and unfortunately, when that inning is over, they have a 2-run deficit.
Yeah, and I really do like the stories of these two teams being in the Mets' favor tonight, meaning that the Brewers had clinched a long time ago. You know, they really, until last night, didn't have one of those elimination heart-pounding games, and they came through in it and late in the game. But, you know, the Mets have dealt with that for the entire year, it seems like, when you bury yourself 11 games under 500 and have to fight and scratch and claw, and it comes down to game 161 of 162. So I just feel like they're built better mentally for this, and the Brewers are going to be tight in that building, just like they were nervous last night. They're going to be tight again in that building, and they're going to feel like they have to win this game. Like we're talking about the Yankees have to beat the Royals. The Brewers out there saying, hell, we won the division again. This Mets team is the 6th seed. We can't lose this game at home. We can't lose that. And sometimes those home games, as we talked about in football with Deshaun Watson, sometimes that pressure in these situations ends up working against
But you know that was
the home team.
But what happened last night was the Churio home run.
Oh, yeah.
Ignited the place.
I mean, this guy, he reminds me of so far, like when Miguel Cabrera was 19 and he came up and had postseason success. When Juan Soto was 19 and did the same thing. He's 20 years old and just, you know.
The good news is that David Stearns was all part of finding all these guys that were watching on both teams.
Good news, yeah. Yeah, this is the Stearns Bowl.
That's the good news.
Yeah, certainly. So, yeah, and as far as, you know, going back to Pete for a second, like the Mets have done it all year without him. Even though he hit over 30 home runs, a lot of those home runs came in situations that didn't matter. I mean, this entire season's success has happened basically without Pete Alonso's help. So I'm not expecting it to happen. If it happens, it's gravy. But, you know, the Mets need to, if they're going to win, it's got to be a carbon copy of what happened in game 1 of this series, which is that, you know, the pitching doesn't have to be perfect, but they got to continue to keep their foot on the gas pedal, continue to score runs, contributions throughout the lineup, putting pressure on them, you know, going first to third, all this stuff that we saw in game 1. That is going to be the formula more so than, in my opinion, like a 1-0, 2-1 pitchers duel. I don't think that happens.
And, you know, the other one was the Iglesias strikeout. I mean, and he swung at a bad pitch.
Yep.
That he and and he's the guy that's been great all year. They've had their moments, and Maton has had his moments. Look, last night it was a baseball game where the other team found the magic late in the game, and tonight it's a winner-take-all type of game. It's something as an athlete you live for. You live for these moments. You live, like, if you are the pitcher for either one of these teams, you want that ball. You want to go out there. You want to basically give your team an opportunity to win. This is what it's all about, man. This is what athletics is all about. It's a winner-take-all game. It's a game 7. It's, in this case, it's a game 3. But still, it really, this is what you call nut-cutting time.
Oh, yeah.
And this is where you find out, really. I mean, like, if the team comes out and wins, then you know that this could be a special magical run. And depending on how this game plays out tonight and the heroics, maybe it's like the Tigers. I think the Tiger fan thinks that for whatever reason, our team all of a sudden has found a mojo. And I bet you in the American League, a lot of people are thinking that the Tigers are a team that just might be that secret sauce team that takes it all the way to the World Series.
You know, I was starting to buy into that. I'm not saying it's totally evaporated, but I was starting to buy into that with the Mets last night with the 3-1 lead. It started to remind me a little bit of how they were unbeatable in the NLCS against the Cubs and swept them in 2015. It felt like that. It felt like after what we saw in that first game with the Braves, and then game 1, and then they come out and it's up 3-1. I was like, this team will not be denied. I mean, that's the feeling that I had, and then it went away, but it doesn't mean that it's gone yet.
Is there any way that you think, or do you think that Mendoza had any idea that Maton was going to be pitching like this? Like, could you tell?
What do you mean?
Like, I don't know. Like a manager is, and he has touched all the right bases as far as I'm concerned. We all love him. We all think he's done a great job this year. But once he gives up that home run and then it gives up with just like a ripped single, aren't you like, all right, wait a minute, time out here. Let's just take stock of what just happened. Mm-hmm. Let's take a look at this. This guy doesn't have it right now.
It would have been a quick hook. I think that Carlos Mendoza Doesn't he? I mean, he likes to trust the guys that have gotten him there, and Maton was very good for them since coming over. So I think he was probably thinking, hell, he's going to settle down, he's going to be okay, and he's not going to give up another home run. He's going to get out of this, and we'll continue to roll. But I don't even know when he had anybody getting ready during that inning. I don't.
I mean, would you have given Mania another inning?
No, I was fine with the way that everything was handled.
Really?
How many pitches was he at? Do you have that right there?
Mania, he had 86 pitches.
Yeah, no, I really did.
I thought he was doing okay.
He was.
I don't know. I just all of a sudden you start going with this bullpen, and they've been okay, but the last person I want to see is Edwin Diaz on the mound. Oh, but Jesus.
Well, you're going to in a 1-run game tonight, or a 2-run game tonight, or a 3-run game tonight. Well, I heard Jerry talk about in the warm-up show that his beef was that Stanek was so good.
Just leave him in there.
Just leave him in there. But, he
doesn't go 2 innings normally, does he?
Especially after pitching the night before. So
yeah.
I understand his philosophy about, hey, the guy's just rolling. And
Jerry's a coach too, though.
He is. Just leave him in there. But that's unconventional from what every team would do. And I mean, and we talked about it. It was supposed to be Maton to Diaz tonight or last night. That's what it was supposed to be, and it was. But Maton stunk. So I mean, that's really, and you got to give credit to the Brewers too for coming up huge in those situations. Not just easy to smack 2 home runs when your back is up against the wall in the bottom of the 8th.
Well, when a guy's throwing meatballs.
It looks like meatballs, doesn't it? When his location is off, it looks like he's
been good too. I mean,
I know.
It's hard to every now and again a player's not going to basically do his thing when his number's called, especially with these relievers that are asked to get 3 outs.
Mm-hmm.
You get 3 outs, it's just like a batter saying, "All right, you're up here, the bases are loaded. Don't hit into a double play, or don't trip on your bat."
Right, right. Don't trip on your bat.
Holy hell!
I know. It's just bad for Pete, man. And he played all 162. I know that was important to him. It's
important to all of us.
That should happen. That should help him in free agency a little bit. But this obviously is not what he wanted. But I mean, it's also that there's still opportunities for him. But I have given up on the. Well, maybe tonight is the Pete Alonso breakout situation. Like,
do you know when his last home run was?
September 19th.
Yes.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Well, I mean, it's in all the game stories and stuff, No, not look at me. I mean, someone else did the work.
I mean, I know someone else did the work. You read it somewhere.
Yeah.
I read it somewhere. That's why I asked you. I was wondering if we read the same thing.
Yeah, we did.
Okay. I've just, the way you just, that is being on it. And I didn't know whether or not you were going to be on it this morning, because I know we're a little bit down about what happened last night, but I'm also excited about what's going to happen today.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I spent so much of my Met fan life expecting them to be terrible in big spots. And same thing with the Minnesota Vikings, that with something like this in an unexpected year where they've been so much fun, there's really no reason to ruin my entire day thinking that they're going to lose this game up until 7 o'clock. Like, enjoy that. I mean, especially someone like me who said they would never get back to 500 and never make the playoffs. Here they are in a wild card series in a winner-take-all Game 3, and with a right to go to Philadelphia for an NLDS. It's like, how could I? I mean, that's the excitement that you want throughout the day. You want to have that giddy feeling,
Yeah, you nervous? You got the butterflies?
No, not.
You sure?
Not yet. No
butterflies, not yet.
I don't think I will get. No, I don't think I'll get that way.
Why won't you get nervous? I had a hard time falling asleep last night.
Did you?
I didn't want to get out of bed this morning.
Speaking of that,
and I felt bad.
Speaking of falling asleep last night.
Yes.
So the game ends. Obviously, the Mets go down in that 9th inning like nothing. Got swatted away.
Right. See, that's also a bad feeling.
I know. So I go to sleep. I go upstairs right after that, and I fall asleep like immediately. I was exhausted. I had a long day. I was exhausted. And for the first time in the 3 years that we've been in this house, one of the smoke alarm batteries starts going off.
Beep,
yeah.
beep,
the second I go to sleep. I mean, and that is and I got to remember, there was some NFL player, some psycho who had that thing going on for like 6 months, and Kay Adams was interviewing him. I got to find out who that was again. So, but it's, and it's like so loud. It's just that one, and it's every 30 seconds. And it like
mine goes
it reverberates throughout the house. So I don't even know where it's coming from because it's just like pinging off the walls. So then Elvis is like, he gets up and, and then Gina, what's that noise? What's that noise? Is it the alarm system? So then I got to like climb up on a chair, one eye open, rip the battery out. I'm like, why?
Usually we do that, when it's, daylight savings time.
Yeah.
So you do that. It's coming up.
Yeah. No, I know.
Actually, we're losing daylight savings time.
Right. We're going back to
fall back.
Depression standard time. The sun goes down at 4:30.
So this battery went off before you really had to change it.
Yes.
I mean, that's a PSA. Every year it's a PSA change. Those batteries.
Yep.
Oh my God!
Oh, it's the absolute pits.
What was that like? Was that like at midnight?
No. It was like 10:45. I want to say.
Oh, okay. Oh, God.
Yeah. Yes. Just awful.